Wyvern, you're doing the same thing. You have the Splinter Blast to farm up. You will find an item or two, and you'll be good. Quincy crew, well, not going full EG, but they do have 2 spirits now. And they're very flexible as well. These Void and Ember can go mid. Ember obviously can be 4. Void Spirit can go off lane to 2. There's just um, a lot of flexibility in their draft right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, fourth pickup's Puck. Now, I already begin to worry a little bit for FURIA and what their scalability is. I'm also a bit uncertain on how this is even going to be laned. While you were mentioning Mirana a bit, I've been thinking about maybe the idea of them putting Mirana mid lane. We saw a little bit very early on in ESL League for North America, South America. They did have Mirana in the mid lane occasionally, though Mirana overall seemed to be niche in the sense that she only popped up in some of these drafts when you have something like the Phoenix coming out. But here they feel it's justified, and at the moment she seems to be the only scaling core in the lineup, unless they want to do this 4 protect 1 style.
I would rather put this Puck mid and put Mirana on 4, but yeah, it could be their mid. I think Puck is really important for this lineup right now because you have Dream Coil to deal with Void Spirit and Ember Spirit. You have a lot of catch from him. Waning Grift is pretty good too versus Pugna, versus all of them. I think this Puck needs to be fat and needs to have a good game.
I just worry that the Puck would drop like a coil, and then you have Keeper dropping a Will-O-Wisp on top of that coil, and then suddenly they're like, well, we want to fight in the coil, but we don't want to fight in the Will-O-Wisp. And they have a ward kicker, so you have a Will-O-Wisp and a ward to deal with.
That's really what they needed, and this puts Mirana most likely on that 4 in the end.
Yeah.
They needed something like a Spectre because these 4 picks are pretty much giving it away that they need a true hard carry, and because of that they get the Spectre. They will be playing your casual 4 protect 1. You could see that Quincy crew also understood that with the AM ban. Now they have to answer the Spectre with something possibly like a PL pick. I would like PL here quite a lot. It's decent versus Beast, decent versus Spectre overall.
Can they go fast and get like a Lycan and just go super speedy?
Can. Yeah, they could go for something like a Wyvern is a problem for you.
That's true.
And if you miss that timing, then you're pretty much done. Spectre will eat you alive later on. PL is an option. Slark might be also an option for them. Could be played.
Yeah, or doing some sort of aggro lane, I guess, on the Spectre. Some teams consider it.
Gyro. Well, they just go with the casual gyro, yeah. Okay. I mean, this is pretty much the most contested hero right now. I think most contested carry, at least, in the last couple of series.
For America, for sure. They love Gyrocopter here. That's for sure.
It's better in the laning stage, stronger. So because of that, it's good. You also have a combo with Keeper of the Lights, Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah.
You have that cooldown to follow up. Overall, it's decent. It gives you some mixed damage.
Yawar's played it every single game. It's not banned, it feels like, that he's been playing it. So he's definitely well-versed on the gyro, warmed up to the gyro, or whatever you want to say. And you're right, yeah. Murdoch on the Puck means that the Puck's going to go middle. So you have a roaming-style Mirana, whether it be floating around with Sexy Fat in his lane or to the side of Spectre. It's cute, but I always fear for the support Mirana is very feast or famine. You know what I mean? Like, she's got to get a lot going, and if she doesn't really find setups or get action, she kind of falls behind a bit. I guess Earth Spirit also falls under this category. If he can't find openings or good ganks or roam, then they tend to fall on the wayside and have a harder time catching up.
You pretty much don't bring a lot of utility after the laning stage. That's the problem of Mirana, right? In the laning stage, you can be massive. You can do a lot. Those arrows are good. You will get those levels because you can just arrow the creeps, right? That's also pretty decent. You can help out a lane a lot, but later on, I definitely agree. There are heroes that do more. And if you miss your timings in the laning stage, if you don't have a good one, if you miss a couple of arrows, then you fall off. That's definitely true. Some players, I think even Crit or someone like that, I've seen they go without Starfall. They just maxed out the arrow, which is also neat. You pretty much have a Dagon That level 3 and 4 arrow dishes out so much damage, it's crazy. The only problem is if you miss those arrows, then
True.
you don't even have a starfall to deal to work with. It becomes hard.
I've definitely seen the two takes on the Mirana. People who have wanted to go all in on the arrow and are banking on the crazy damage it now has with that little bit of a buff, and others that continue to work with mostly the Starstorm and leaping in and getting the damage from that front. But all right, everybody warming up their chat wheels here as we get underway. Game number 1 of Quincy Crew, formerly known as Chaos, is going to be going against FURIA Esports here. Quinn on that mid lane, Ember Spirit will be going toe-to-toe against Murdoch's Puck. And then down below, SVG on that Keeper of the Light, side by side with Yawar's Gyrocopter. Will be real nice to get that Chakra Magic juice and extra rocket barrages, extra homing missiles, what have you. I've been more even not even getting Illuminate early at all. I love Blinding Light. I think I even cheese people out of bounty runes early by blinding them away from the bounties, picking it up. And I think it just causes so much of a disruption in the laning phase that it's so good
it's much
up.
better, especially when you're on the safe lane. You really don't want that illuminate. So on the safe lane, you want the blinding light and the chakra magic because you don't really want to be pushing in the lane. When you're playing on off lane, yeah, you can pick illuminate because you want to be pushing in so that you can stack and pull that side camp. Even though that's not really how the game is played right now, you still can do that. But blinding light is the way to go, definitely.
And that new talent is just so nice. The Blinding Light cooldown. I think before it was like either spell amplification or spell stealing. Either way, I was going for the move speed. But once they added the
it was spell amp. I think he had like 10 or 8%, something like that, if I remember correctly.
Doesn't feel too worth here as it is going to be Mirana and Beastmaster down to the bottom. She leveled the arrow. Yes, she did. So she could go right for that range creep that we were talking about before. Let's see if she's able to get the range creep snipe or if SVG is going to try to body block it. This is the mega meta. Let's see. How far is he? Okay, there it is. There's the shot. The range creep. Boom! See you later. Solo XP for Sexy Fat. Lane is 1.
It really is quite significant to take down that range creep so easily. It's strong. That's why some heroes such as Rubik are really good as well. One of the reasons, not the only one. If you have a support that can secure that range creep, it's a big thing.
I've definitely heard a lot of core players make PSA statements to their fellow pub supports to please, if possible, to blast down the range creep. Just take it upon yourself to do so. Here's MSS. He's playing the offlane Void Spirit, going to be joined by Biver's Pugna. Not a lane matchup you see too often. The 4-position Pugna. I think we saw this just earlier today, right? Was that a 4 position or?
It was 3. It was
3,
position
right.
3. Yeah. It was on the offlane, but he played it the same way. He started with the Nether Ward. It's pretty strong right now. That's why everyone is maxing it first.
Yeah, negative 0.8 on the mana regen. It's going to be a little tricky for the Spectre to deal with, especially if he was hoping to spam daggers occasionally. Definitely be a bit annoying.
Yeah, you pretty much have to go for that. Well, no, you don't have to, but Soul Ring would be really good for Spectre this game.
And they will continue to flirt and blast each other in that top lane. How's mid going? We got Quinn 9-3 to Murdoch's 6-2 on the puck. So Quinn off to a slight advantage on this Ember Spirit here.
Yeah, 2 heroes that are all about that playmaking style, right?
Yep.
Puck pretty much, I think, has more weight on his shoulder in this game. He has to be very, very active to create enough space for that Spectre. But Ember Spirit can kind of follow the same pace. Quinn can do a lot. So far, no kills on the lanes, huh?
No, everybody's kind of got a matchup that may have some kill potential, but they're also just as elusive, it would seem. Whether, you know, Mirana's about to get level 2, but that could be
perhaps
where it's at.
Perhaps if that arrow connects, you know, you can take down a Gyro or Kotl, but if the arrow does not connect, you don't really have kill potential. On the top lane as well, as Pugna was level 1 with Nether Ward, you don't really do a lot with that.
Yeah, it would take an overstep or a misplay for a first blood to potentially happen here. They're going to do the Arctic Burn on top. I'm also watching bottom. as they get a good set of rocket barrage damage onto Sexy Fat. It's Yawar cleaning it up and getting that first blood. And it was just a homing missile, right-click down. I don't even know.
Homing missile, then Chakra Magic level 2, then
Oh, yeah.
another one, then yeah, there's. It's a really good lane for Gyro. Already 2 raid bans as well. He's not really contested too hard. The boars also are just dying to the flak. Sorry, to the flak cannon.
Arrow only gets the small creep though. And you can see this Coddle Gyro lane already kind of taken over a bit as Gyro has 25 and 13 denies on that hero. Troublesome for the Beastmaster at 7 and 2. When you look at the other mid laner being MSS, who's 20 and 5, you're looking at, I think, 3 lanes that are going the way of Quincy crew at the moment. As long as Quinn is still beating ahead that puck,
Mid lane?
it still looks like the case. Oh gosh, this might make it even more evident as Murdoch is forced to jump and orb out. He might have to head all the way back. Yep, he does. He has no more regen. Quinn has certainly got the mid lane. So with that going well, MSS is getting a lot of CS in the top lane. Bottom, Gyro got that kill and is farming away. This is all Quincy crew in the laning phase.
Yeah, they just started this lane way too well on the bottom lane. With the constant spam, they killed off the boars easily. They stole the experience from Mirana when arrowing the big creep on the side camp as well. They got everything proper, and now Sexy Fat might die again.
It's a bounty time as they fight for the bounties on the bottom. The rocket's going to be going out, the barrage to follow. And there it is. Duster is able to take flight and get a deep bounty ward bounty rune rather at the top, so it's not a sweep of bounties.
Top lane, Spectre.
They know the Wyvern's not in the lane, so they try to commit onto RDO. They are not going to be able to get her. She makes it to behind the tower. Duster does commit the full suicide out.
He suicides, but Spectre is already completely zoned out. He will probably bring her some regen towards that top lane once he respawns, but these suicides are way longer than before. Like a few months back, you suicide and you're up in, what, 5 seconds? Now it's 20-ish.
Yeah, the Frog doesn't want you guys abusing sort of suicide shenanigans here, as MSS is happy to fend off the Arctic burn pressure coming in from Duster. Does not seem too much of a threat at this time. Looks like a regen rune. Quinn's able to get both runes covered now that he's level 6. He just remnants back up, bottles the regen.
Bottom lane, Sexy Fat.
Oh god, commitments. Another takedown on Sexy Fat. In the bottom lane, Yawar scoring 3 kills now and being on a killing spree. Couldn't ask for anything better in this laning setup, and FURIA may be scratching their heads wondering why they didn't ban that Coddle in the banning phase.
Yeah, the Gyro as well, just complementing him so well. Right now, Rocket Barrage is what, 6 seconds? By the time it's done, you pretty much have it off cooldown if you get Illuminate, right? If you get Chakra Magic, sorry.
Yeah.
You get Chakra Magic
Here he
and you
does.
have...
We'll see it right here. Now he gets hit with the coil. SPG moves in, blinding lights them both. Hits him with the mana, and he's got Rocket Barrage again. Fully commits it onto Murdoch. Murdoch is going to be forced to jaunt out from trouble, and that's a 3-man gank with a coil. That's going to get nothing out of it. Oh, they get the finish onto Heiko. He must have blasted him
SPG
down.
read where he's going to move, and he uses that Illuminate that he just skilled.
At that same moment, Quinn was able to finish off that tier 1 mid lane, and top, we're seeing both sides trade. This is the...
Yeah, this is a disaster. They just lost the tier 1 6 minutes 30-ish in. This is pretty bad. Puck rotating bottom. Okay, you need to slow down this Gyro, but you can't do it when there's a catapult wave heading towards your tier 1.
MSS is second in CS as the offlane Void Spirit going against Spectre in this lane. I mean, top 3 CS is each of their lanes. This is the best thing you can ask for.
This game is out of control.
Yeah.
FURIA, right now, when you're in situations such as this one, you need to do something crazy. You need to just rotate all the heroes somewhere, use Haunt once you get it at least, and try and make some big plays.
Oh my god, he just uses double Rocket Barrage. He gets Rocket Barrage before the Rocket Barrage is even over. I need to stop talking about how good Coddle is because he's going to get nerfed. I'm never going to see him again. That's just the facts. Murdoch has to use a defensive coil in the mid lane, by the way. Oh.
Yeah, but there's Ember here to hunt down the Mirana.
Leaps. No, don't do this. Leaps back right into Coddle. Oh, I'll get you. And she still gets sniped. 7-0. How ironic would this be?
Lane.
Can FURIA get the 1 kill at least to make this a full Brazilian experience? Nope. It's going to be 8-0 with the blasting of Sexy Fat on the bottom lane, who's now dominating Yawar. This is one of the most one-sided starts to a game I've seen in the Pro Series so far.
Them 1-7, the full Brazilian experience. You actually remember that. Nice.
But not going to be there. A day full of memes already, I'm sure. Not a meme that FURIA enjoy at the moment. Quincy are just getting everything they could ask for.
Yeah, they're rotating towards that top lane now as well. Spectre already has abandoned ship and went down bottom. But you have no levels on the side of FURIA. The only ones with the ultimate are Puck and Spectre. The rest of them are nowhere near. They're all level 4s right now.
Yeah.
There's only one tome to buy.
Sexy Fat's like, that's mine, right? I mean, come on. I'm the offlaner. I should be my level 6 right now. So let's get that Primal Roar going. But trouble is afoot. Look at Quincy, man. They know how powerful they are, and they are just taking it to the Spectre. They head right to that bottom lane with everybody except Biver at attendance. And Yawar just trudging on in, taking it as a 3-on-1. The three of them don't even want to lane.
Really, at this point, I think you give all the experience to the Wyvern, and he gets that Winter's Curse, and you just hope that they all kill themselves, and that's it. You just use that. Yeah. That's the best play. Beast mid.
This is offlaner versus offlaner. Oh! SPG. Not quite able to get the finish. Only that one level in the Illuminate, of course, but a big Will-O-Wisp from the high ground. All right, good thing on RDO. He's trying to quickly finish off the ball. Does take down the Will-O-Wisp. Costs him nearly all of his life for it, though. Quinn, under a bit of pressure, has to Remnant one way. Remnant's the other side. Almost Remnant's into that arrow, but is going to be fine. They might get Quinn here. Yawar's going on a tear, but look at that. Murdoch able to get the finish. Onto Quinn. It could cost Murdoch his own life. Somehow jaunts to the other side, and here they go. FURIA get their first kill on the board.
Yep, 200 gold. They do lose the Spectre, they lose the Wyvern, perhaps even a Mirana here in this rocket is...
Oh, it's too weak.
Fine.
Okay.
Wait.
Only level 1.
Sexy Fat moves back for some reason, but yeah, he needs to go back and reach and runs back to base. He doesn't even have boots, you know. It's a very sad game for a Beastmaster to play like this. Meanwhile, on the enemy side, Void Spirit, the offlaner, has a mech completed.
Yeah, it's real trouble right now for FURIA, and really their flash of life will only come from getting this Primal Roar online, and like you mentioned, getting the Wyvern ult together. Wyvern is level 6 now.
There you go. That's your kill potential right there.
Yep.
The only problem is Duster. He might die here.
Yeah, not even your jungle is safe. As the second Duster creeps up into the high ground, there are Quincy members all around waiting for him.
Okay, there's level 6 on Beastmaster as well now. They are getting their levels at least. Slowly. Very, very slowly, but they're getting them.
Would be unfortunate that the time they get to use them is in their own high ground. I imagine we're expecting to be able to go out on the move. Mirana's almost level 6, you know, maybe with Moonlight Shadow to set things up if she does want to level into Moonlight Shadow. Could make things a little bit better for the setup. But it already feels like it's a very, very dire situation. They have to have everything line up perfectly in this team fight, and it might only all focus onto one target. That one target might have to be the gyro if they want to get the biggest bounty of them all. But you're going to be dealing with, you know, Coddle in the back lines, who's got Will-O-Wisp. You got the Pugna, who can bail him out with the life drain. It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and your Spectre is rushing Radiance. Well, like, the most farmed hero on your team is going to have any impact in these fights. You know, he only has power treads and slippers of agility, so you're lacking damage severely. You're lacking levels, lacking damage. There's a mech on the enemy team. There's a lot of sustain as well. It's hard to say what they need to do. I guess they need to somehow 5-man and get some pickoffs, but Quincy crew, they really have to make mistakes in order to lose this game at this point.
Quincy crew not looking to let this Spectre have any breathing room. They already make the move to the bottom. They're committing in the Will-O-Wisp, but Moonlight Shadow as a desperate attempt to try to make it out from trouble. Here comes Mirana with the arrow, with the Starfall, but how much damage is it really going to do? Yawar just pops his Mask of Madness and flexes out all the damage he can, scores a double kill, taking both Heiko and Duster's life. And now they remnant on in. Sexy Fat just a little further forward. Quinn gets the secondary jump in. MSS gets the lockdown.
He wasn't even in this team fight. He wasn't even there. He was just running away. But without boots, it's kind of hard to move anywhere.
He was
and
not
Spectre,
far enough, too close for social distancing, and Quincy went in and just made him pay.
Exactly. At least Spectre, you know, he's following the guidelines. He TP'd top instantly, moved away.
I just don't imagine a world where Quincy are going to even allow the Spectre to farm up a Radiance at the pacing of this game right now. You're talking about a 14k net worth advantage at like nearly 15 minutes into the game. Okay, now 13, but still.
Maybe if they didn't have any heroes that push, right, then the Spectre might farm that relic at least, but they do have a Pugna, and they are able to take every single outer tower in a really fast pace. 15 minutes in, FURIA is left without a single tower standing on the map.
Where's my pension?
Pugna, actually.
Okay, there's the ult coming out from Spectre, looking to fight, trying to get the jump. Akano gets caught with the curse, and they should be able to muscle him down, but he quickly pops the mech, barely holds on, and then ultimately he'll be finished. And that is when Yawar and Quinn just unload a can of ass beating all over FURIA and wipe out their cores. Are they already going to have to? Okay, there it is. Just about 15 minutes. I can't really blame them. I can't really blame them. Quincy just put on a stomping in the laning phase, and I don't even think you can mainly attribute it to skill or anything like that. I think that they just drafted themselves into such a commanding position. Like, FURIA had a lot more to try to accomplish to even make that as a break even.
Yeah, their lanes they definitely did get out drafted. I have to. At the same time, they did last pick that Spectre, so they expected that even though they might lose the lanes, the late game can be theirs. But they lost the lanes way too hard, and they lost every single lane. You can't lose 3 lanes and then expect to magically come into the mid game and win it. So 15 minutes it is. Yeah, just have to rethink the way they're drafting for the second match.
I know, doesn't sound like there's a whole lot that we can talk about for this, but I imagine FURIA need to give the respect during the draft for the next game. I would certainly ban out the Coddle unless you get first pick and you try to snipe it for yourself. And ban out the Gyro. I mean, Gyro has been such a hot pick, and especially for Quincy crew. Yawar is obviously going to pick it, or they're going to pick it for Yawar any chance they get. He's clearly warmed up on the hero. Force him to play just something else or a different type of style. I think that would be a step in the right direction. And just try to hit the drawing board once again. Try to draft really solid lanes and, make it work from there. Tough one to watch if you're a FURIA fan, of course. For Quincy, they have another win under their belt as they continue to try to move forward with a strong, undefeated showing here at the Pro Series. We'll cut to a break, gang. When we come back, more Beyond the Summit Pro Series action sponsored by Monster.